juries have been known to take a lot longer in trying to determine the value of a life, and that's very difficult. And so the court has been back there primarily struggling with that particular issue. But here's the judgment of the court, and I'll let you guys render it because I worked and used your judgment form, but I think you need to do it properly. On the issue of conversion, I found damages in the amount of $1,575,041, and that represents the monies taken from the account, and the value of the ring is testified to by Mr. Brown. And on that particular issue of conversion, I will award punitives in the amount of $125,125 for a total of $250,000. That's the cap. I may have misspoken. Alex tells me I may have said pain and suffering isn't, but it's punitives that have the cap. On the issue of assault and battery, medical damages, total medicals in the amount of $1,370,877.52, which was what was testified to. And with respect to the pain and suffering as a result of the assault and battery, I will award the sum of $13,800,000 for pain and suffering. On the issue of punitive damages arising out of the assault and battery, I will award the amount of $4,200,000, finding under Code Section 51-12-5.1F that the defendant acted under the evidence while he was under the influence of alcohol and drugs, and that is the exception to the cap on punitives. And so that will be $4,200,000 on that. And then under the loss of life, I will award, and I've broken this out, but I've accepted the expert witness, Professor Daniels' testimony at $10,256,000. I just dropped the $205 as the present cash value, economic value of her life, and the non-economic value of $4,800,000 for a total of $15,056,000. $15,056,000. Okay, for her total value of her life, and the attorney's fees we will reserve for Mr. Ware to present those, and the further request that personal property be returned. I cannot order personal property be returned because nobody specified what personal property other than the ring, and I think that you can't have it both ways, so I guess you would want the value of the ring versus the ring, and I'm sure if he did show up with the ring, you might consider taking it back for a credit. But I don't know if that's going to happen, but because I don't know what the personal property is, there'd be no way for me to enforce an injunction because I wouldn't know what he had or didn't have and whether he returned it all. You understand that, yes, lawyers? Yes, sir. And I will say this on the punitive damages, just to kind of, you're saying, where does the judge come up with all this stuff? What we did is actually Alex looked up what Marcia Clark sold her book for on the OJ trial, and she sold it for 4.2, and so therefore trying to find a rational basis for following Judge Hatchett's argument about not letting him profit. And since it's already been made to appear to this court that this man has been on the Dr. Phil show, kind of trying to capitalize on his involvement with this young woman, I could see that that might be a possibility. And so just trying to find a rational basis for punitives, we thought that might be a good way to look at it, to take out any kind of profit motive and all. So that's the judgment of the court. I think that's covered everything except for the attorney's fees, Mr. Ware, which we will reserve on. So between the two of you, then if you'll please get me a judgment consistent with what I've just ordered, I would appreciate it. Is there anything else for this court?
I just want to say thank you so much for both accommodating us, because I know you're trying to transition.
Yeah. My office is a wreck back there. I'm trying to pack.
and for your professionalism and your attentiveness. I thank you on behalf of the estate of Bobbi Kristina Brown. Thank you, Your Honor.
On behalf of Bobbi Brown, we really appreciate your time today and listening to our case.
Well, for those of you that have lost a daughter and a friend, my heart goes out to you. I know it's very difficult, and we all know sitting here, putting a value on a person's life is truly, really impossible, because there's no real true value except friendship and relationships, and that ultimately is the value that we all have with our loved ones and our friends. And so putting an economic value is extraordinarily difficult, but in our system, that's the only way that we can do it in order to somehow or other compensate for the loss, is to put that value on it, but it doesn't discount the value of a person's life at all, because, again, you sit there and say, what would you pay to have this child back, to have this friend back? If you could pay, what amount? So, it's difficult, and so my heart goes out to all of you, and this has been a very, I know, difficult situation for so many people, and it's especially difficult when you lose a young person, and those of us that have gray hair and no hair, we realize, you snuff out a person's life when it's just beginning, and what potential is there for all young people is just something that's very difficult to value, except for the friendships and relationships aspect of it. So good luck to all of you, and I appreciate your professionalism in presenting this today.